Relationships build businesses, but community creates empires, and Debbra Abeyta is a living proof. Debbra has mastered the art of turning daily conversations into predictable listing appointments with 80 homes sold and over 26 million in sales volume just in the last 12 months. She's known for leveraging local events, community connections, and strategic platinum letters. That's right, platinum, not golden letters, to convert her 200 ambassadors into predictable listing appointments every single week. No chasing leads, no cold call burnout, just consistent conversations, genuine community involvement, and a relentless focus on providing exceptional seller experiences so they make more and she makes more. Ready to learn how to have sellers calling you with her platinum letter? Well, you're in the right place. Let's dive in with Debbra Abeyta. All right, so here we are with the one and only Debbra Abeyta. And Debbra, I'm so excited that we get to first of all, have this time with you. And first of all, welcome to the Listing Beast podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for today.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast. So Debbra, as you know on the show, what we focus on is we really take a deep dive on Listing Beast and your career and what you've done and what you've created. And we always frame it into three main categories. Number one, how do we provide an exceptional listing service and an exceptional listing program so that our sellers, of course, make the most money in the least amount of time with the least amount of headache. Number two, which we're excited about to talk about because you do such a great job at your database, is how do we make our database feel special at scale? And in doing that, have a high level of repeat and referral business, a high level of conversion, and as we know, build ambassadors, which mean you both love. And then number three, which I'm really excited to talk about today with your platinum letter, is how do we leverage our funnel, our listing funnel, to create listing leads and leads as a whole on a consistent basis. And the great thing about having you on today is you're really good at all three of those, which is what I'm really excited for. So let's start off and let's jump to number one, which is your listing presentation, your listing experience. Why do you think you have success when you're on listing appointment? What's the secret sauce?
So for us, I feel like it's the connection that we have with the people. So we really listen to them when we're on a listing appointment. We really listen to the conversation, and we're listening to what they're looking for, where they're trying to go, why they're selling. We ask some questions and we listen to what their answers are. And we're trying to bring value to them to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. So
is it kind of a one size fits all, Deborah, or before you go to the appointment, are you kind of customizing it based on, I know you do a lot of mountain properties, city properties. You've been in different locations. You've sold everything from all over the scale, right? Do you kind of customize it before you go in, or how does that work once you're thinking about how do I solve the seller problems?
We do. So we do customize it based upon where they're located. So we look at, are they down in the Denver metro area? Are they in the mountains? Is it a primary home for them in the mountains? Is it a second home for them? We try to find out exactly what they're trying to accomplish, what they're, why they're selling, and how we can work with them to accomplish the goal that they're looking for.
And when this happens, Deborah, does this happen in the living room? Does this happen when you're walking through the home? Is it a lot of pre-screening on the phone? How do you extract these details so you know what their goals are?
So we try to pre-screen everybody by the initial phone call. And we have a seller profile sheet that we have questions on that we try to ask them those questions ahead of time. And then when we get to the home, we also drive by the home before the appointment. We also look at the area, make sure that we know what's around the area. So then when we meet with them, we can kind of tell them how we're going to target market the buyers that are going to come to their property or potential buyers. So, and we can give them ideas of what we're trying to accomplish. What we have found is a lot of sellers want top dollar. They just don't know how to get there. And when we get to the property, when we walk through the property and we sit back down with them, because we always sit down with them first, and then we walk the property, and then we sit back down, and we can give them the points of what we can see. So like if we walk into a house and it's very nicely staged, it's remodeled, updated, then we're not going to have to go into as much detail as if we walk into a house and you can barely get to, the kitchen table. So we have to let them know that they've got to start decluttering. They're going to move anyway.
Right.
So you might as well pack everything up into a pod or in boxes and put them in your garage.
Gotcha. And Deborah, with the pricing that's been, changing, and inventory, I think in your areas that you work have been increasing.
Right.
Talk me through this pricing conversation. How are you trying to, everyone thinks pricing was what it was last year, right? And me and you've chatted about this offline, and I think you do a great job of trying to help the sellers understand that. How do you help them when I go, I want $850 and that the market's telling you $800? How are you having that delicate conversation right now, and what tools are you using to try to help you through it?
So we have, obviously, we are doing a comparative market analysis on their property. One thing that we have added is we are now printing out the comps. So instead of just having it on the comparative market sheet, which is just like a one-sheeter that gives, an active, a pending, and closed.
Yes, yeah, almost like the single line stat page to a certain degree. Okay.
Yep. Then what we do is we also print out those homes to take with us as part of that whole package. Because
and you didn't do that before because you didn't feel you needed to? Oh, okay.
Like needed to do that before.
Okay.
But now they actually need to see the house, because if I give them an address, they might not connect what house it is. But if I show them the picture, and then they can see the square footage, they can see the bedrooms, they can see price per square foot, they can see more detailed work about the house, then they have a better understanding of why my price is where it's at.
Right.
You're always going to have the sellers that always think their house is worth a lot more.
Sure.
And my conversation, with that is, that is not the market that we're in, to where you can overprice your home and the buyers will still come and they'll either give you that price or they'll come in lower. Right now, we need to get the buyers to your home, and pricing is so important right now. If you go by my comparative market analysis, and you go at market value, or you go a little bit below market value, then you're going to get the buyers to your house. So then they can see how wonderful your house is. Then they can fall in love with your house. Then they're going to be willing to give you, a really good price for your home.
I love
but
that.
If I set too high, they're not even going to come to the home.
Right. I'd rather have you in a position to turn down offers than not receive any offers at all. Right.
Right.
That's one of my favorite lines to because it's true. Right. If we can't put you in a position to say no because no one's coming, I can't help you. And then you just recently went through a kind of a change in your presentation style, where before, and I know this, had you kind of, not to say it felt uncomfortable, but when you were getting to the final part where the sellers were ready to move forward with you because they loved your presentation, loved the whole process. Can you talk to me a little bit before you used to do it a way where you had, go through all of the listing agreement, all of the disclosures, and you've recently changed that to a different process, or you're again sometimes doing it, right? Can you talk through the reasons and what you've kind of learned through that? What I'm trying to explain is, I'll let you explain it, right? Why don't I just let you? You're the star. So before you used to get to the end and you go, here's an 18-page listing agreement. What do you do now that's different?
Yeah. So I was the agent that would go through, every line item on that contract to make sure that they understood it. What we do now is the listing agreement is in the packet that we give them. I go over some bullet points about it, and then I let them know it's going to be sent over to you electronically. Let you go through it, at your leisure. If you have any questions, you can let me know. But what I have found is most of the people trust you.
Yes.
And at that point, they trust you. They know you're going to give them the information that they need to have. And it just made the whole process a lot smoother. Right. And it just doesn't get too long in the process, because my listing appointments were going to an hour and a half. Right. Sometimes, because we start talking about the area, and we start talking about the home. And so we were trying to get our listing appointments down to 1 hour. And so by doing that, the people really trust us. Right. When we go to that appointment. And, I think a lot of it is because they've heard about us in the community, or they know the person that referred them to us, whatever the case might be. We don't really run into a lot of problems anymore. It was a limited belief on my part. I mean, I thought.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it. And what we're trying, so the audience understands is, as Deborah was getting through this, instead of, again, she wanted to provide value and educate them. And depending on what state you're in, or we have, listeners from all over Australia and all over, whatever country you're in, is just trying to think about your entire process of going, look, I built all this trust during the appointment. Now I get to this extremely lengthy agreement. I think some of us feel, Deborah, that we're going, if I don't go through it line by line, I'm doing them a disservice. And I think Correct. What you also do a great job of is, depending on their personality style, if they're the type of personality style that needs to go through every line, you're all for it. You'll go through every single line with them, right? So we're not saying you're going, hey, just, it's all trust me, wink, wink. It's just like anything. I laugh about this all the time. It's like when you buy an iPhone or go on a Facebook app or any of this, there's terms and conditions, and they're 99 pages long, 150 pages long. But we feel like in 2 seconds, we can jump on and start posting our personal photos and our personal lives on Facebook, right? And we don't even give it a second thought. But when we get to this listing agreement, it seems like, especially seller property disclosures and mold disclosures and all of this, we want to educate. And of course, we want to expedite that process to make sure that the seller is having the best experience. So I think you've done a great job of that. And when you said limited belief, I think it's all of us that have that limited belief, because you're constantly torn. But I can tell you this, most clients don't want to sit there and go through 35 pages of agreements, because, and just like you, if there's anything that they don't quite understand or don't feel comfortable with, right? You're not locking them into some scary thing. It's going, we're going to work together, and if we don't work well together, then we won't work well together, right? It's very much, it's your reputation, I think, and people get lost in that. So I know what it feels like to want more listings, but it's really hard when you don't know where to find them, how to list them, and how to get them sold in the first weekend. That's why today's episode is powered by listingbeast.com, the proven certification program that's helping agents like you get more listings, make more per client, and receive endless referrals from raving fans. If you're serious about earning $100,000 a month every single month from listings, head straight to listingbeast.com and book a call with my team to apply. Now, back to the show. So let's move on to, because I want to get to this platinum letter, and I'm really excited. So let's move on to number 2 before we get to the platinum letter, which is, how do you make, so you have a database here of, I think, what do we say, 2,500? Is that about right?
2,500.
Yeah,
yes.
2,500 person database. And Deborah, as you know, and we've been passionate in our experiences together, is out of that 2,500, how many people in that database do you think know you by name, would utilize you in 2 seconds, and would refer their friends to you? So out of that 2,500, how many ambassadors, that's how we define ambassador, would know you, like you, would do real estate business with you and refer their friends to you? How many do you think you have out of that 2,500? Just ballpark.
I'd say probably about 200.
Perfect. And that's the great number, right? So 200, And then you and your team do an excellent job of making sure you make your clients feel special, and you do a
Yeah.
really good job of doing it at scale. Talk me through how do you make me want to use Deborah again in 3 years?
Well, our team is really based upon, or not the team, but our clients. We develop very close relationships with them. It is very important to us that we stay in contact with them. We're building a relationship. We're inviting them to our events.
So
We're
let's
getting
let's
ready.
let's slow it down, Deborah, and break it down just real quick, because I just want to make sure when you say events. So let's get tactical. So how many times am I your ambassador getting touched, right, by either mail, event? How many? What? Talk me through, like, this summer. What happens if I'm in Deborah's world this summer? What goes down?
This summer, we are going to be doing the client appreciation with the Rockies
Okay.
through our office. So
And
that's going
since
to
you're
be
in Colorado, for the listeners, do you mean the baseball team?
the Colorado Rockies baseball team.
Gotcha.
So we're inviting, right now we have close to 100 people that are going to be attending that event.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good amount.
Yep. So we reached out to several people, and so that's going to be one of that every time we have an event, it's a time for us to reach out to people to invite them to something. And so the Colorado Rockies event for baseball is coming in June. And then we have a big community event in September, which is our community event for Clear Creek County, which is a big barbecue. We bring in a band. We usually have a guest person, like from the Broncos,
Right.
or
It's a big deal. I've received the invite. It looks really, really cool. I'm going to try to make it one of these times. So almost every quarter there's an event, would you say?
Yeah, we try to do some type of an event on a quarterly basis. And we participate in a lot of the community events, and we tag along with them, but then we invite our clients to those events. So it's a way for us to make contact with them and to invite them to something that is going on in our community.
Instead of just calling up and being like, hey, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell?
Right, exactly. And that's how we're building the relationship with them. So it always comes up in the conversation. Hey, what's going on with real estate? I hear this or I hear that. And so we try to give them that information. And it just leads into talking about maybe they're looking to sell their home, or they're looking to buy a second home, or they've got a friend that's looking. So it's really about building a relationship and not just emailing them or mailing them. You've got to be calling them.
And then, Deborah, did that kind of grow along the way? Like, what did you do your first year? Was it like one event the first year, and then it kind of grew to the next one, to the next one? What's the origin story, if you will?
Yeah. So when we first started, it was a matter of just building our database. And, and building our database, it was our sphere. And then we would do open houses. And then as time was going on, we start hearing about doing an event. So then that's when we were like, okay, let's get, an event going once a year. And then we went into twice a year. And then we just start building it to where now we try to do an event every quarter. It might be something different. A lot of times we will repeat the events. So like our barbecue, that has become, annual event. So everybody knows on September 1st, we're having, the Keller Williams office is having a barbecue at our office, and they know that. And if you talk to people around town, they all know that that's going to happen on September 1st.
Yeah, you really know, and I think you do such an excellent job of, people love community, right? They love community. I think it was weird during COVID and we came out, I think we realized how much we all missed people. And I think you do a great job with that. So that's excellent. I do want to spend some time, and we could talk about events and all of that, and we'll have you back on again in the future. But let's get into what I think is super interesting right now, and especially because you just took a listing from it yesterday.
Right.
the platinum letter. And we were
Yes.
chatting offline for a moment, and we were talking about, we both know Will Van Wickler's golden letter, and you've taken it to a whole new level. So let's go
Right.
slow and go kind of, you heard about it, you decided to do it, and then you took it to another piece. And so take me through that and how we got to the platinum letter.
Yep. So we started with the golden letter. And what
for explain that to people that are just new listening.
Okay. So what the golden letter is a letter that we've put together that we send out to our community or to an area that we are very, that we're working that area and we're very in that community. And so what we did with this letter is we sent it out. I think our first round was close to 500 homes. And we are just asking them if they are looking, we're telling them that we have buyers that are looking in the area. And if they're interested in selling their home, we have buyers that could potentially be interested in their home.
And when you say letter, is this, and Deborah, I'm sorry, is it just 8.5 by 11 in a white envelope? Is it any magic in is it a stamp? I like to get real tactical because people want to go, how do I do it? So is it just, is it typed? Do you hand sign it? How does that piece of material look?
So when we first started doing these, it was just a letter that was typed. It was personalized to their name, their address, and we just put it in a white envelope and we sent it out. And
with like a label on it for the address? Did you put a label on it, hand addressed?
It was just a label for the address. And we did do a label for their address and for our return address. And then we mailed them out. From that, first, it was back in 2023 that we did that. And from the 500 that we sent out, we had probably close to 10 people reach out to us.
Wow.
Yeah. And what we found out is out of those 10, we had just about 5 listings. And now, even in 2025, we still have people reaching out to us from the 2023 golden letter. So
which just happened yesterday, right? That's what happened.
Happened yesterday. And it was a letter that was just very straightforward. We've got buyers in the area, and if you're looking to sell your home, we've got potential buyers that might be interested in it. And then it just
said, give me a call. Thanks, Deborah. Right. I just want to make sure people understand, because I'll get questions about this offline. They'll be like, exactly what did it say? And I go, it's exactly how she's telling you. It's that simple. I have buyers in your neighborhood. If you're interested in selling, give me a call. Right. That's the letter.
That's the letter.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Yep. No QR code, no nothing. And you sent out a bunch. You got 10 responses. You took probably 5 to 6 listings ish from that. And then people are hearing this and they're going, why am I not doing this? And then talk us now through how you went to the next level. What stepped it up?
So what we did the next time is, because we were like, okay, we did get a really good response from that letter, but now how can we get people to make contact with us even if they're not looking to sell their home? So what we added to the letter is, we've got buyers looking in the area. If you're looking to sell your home, reach out to us. Or if you are wanting to do updates to your home, or you need to have a handyman do some things around your house, or you need somebody to paint, or whatever the case might be, but you need work done, we have a very extensive list of vendors that our team has used, and we know that they're good vendors. So reach out to us if you want some names or numbers of those vendors, because most people don't do, they're working on their home, but if they go to get a painter, when's the last time they painted their house? And they might not have a really good painter or have the name of a really good painter, where with us, we are working with these vendors on a daily basis, weekly basis. So we know that they do a good job. And so we asked them they could reach out to us to get a vendor from our vendor list, or we'd also like to invite you to our annual barbecue on September 1st. Give us a call to RSVP for the barbecue.
I love it. It's three points of: one, I have a buyer that would be interested in purchasing your home. If you're interested in selling, give me a call. Two,
Right.
I'm providing value. So in the process, if you're even thinking about selling, or you need not just selling, if you need any help with anything, we've got great people that we can recommend to you, aka Angie's list, Debra's list. And then number three, we want to get to know you and be part of our lives. And we're inviting you to the community event, the next upcoming community event.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
So are people calling you up and being like, hey, I need a window guy. Do you have anybody good? And
Yep.
okay. Which is great. And when they call, you're not being like, are you being like, and do you want to sell, or you're just providing the value and just going, we're here to help. If you need anything, let us know. Talk to me. I call up and I go, I need to paint the exterior of my house, Deborah. Who do you got? Is that called just value and kindness, or is there any type of conversion that you're trying to do there?
Well, what I try to do is capture their email address. So that way I can let them know, because I'm trying to capture that. So when they call me, obviously we start a conversation about what are you doing around your house? And they're like, I got your letter. I just want to let you know, I'm not selling my home, but I need a roofer, or I need a painter or electrician, whatever it might be. And I was just wondering, in your letter, you mentioned that you have vendors that you use. I was just wondering if I could get an electrician from you. And I'm like, absolutely. I go, I've got several. Can I get your email address so I can email you 2 or 3 that we have used in the community area that we have found to be really good? And then I also bring up the event and just say, oh, and also I want to make sure you saw on my letter that we're having our community event on September 1st. So I hope you can make it. And then they're just like, oh, absolutely, we're going to be there. Or they'll say, no, we're not going to be able to make it, whatever the case might be. And if they say they can't make it, then I say, you know what, there's always next year, or there's another one. It depends on where the conversation's going to go. But I'm capturing, obviously they called me. So now I've got their phone number. And so I captured that phone number. Then in order for me to give them the vendor, I need your email so I can email you the vendor. And then I get the email. Then what I also ask them is if they'd like to be on our VIP list for all events that we do throughout the year.
I love this. So just now that one mailer is not just a one-stop, hopefully they need to sell or know somebody that's looking to sell tool. We've got 3 points of engagement. Now we've got lead capture, because you're providing value, which is great. So and the other side that I think is really cool about this is you're hooking up vendors who are going to love you even more, because you're helping promote your vendor's business. So when they talk about doing real estate with anyone, who are they going to give the name of? The people the agent that doesn't send them business, or the agent that does send them business? Yeah, right. So, I mean, it sounds so nuanced, but just that change of that just really, that was. And so what made you think about this? Were you just like, hey, we're sending out the letter, why don't we give it a shot? And you just kind of, you just started thinking about it. I mean, I know you guys are constantly innovating, but was it just kind of like, hey, we just had this idea and gave it a shot?
Well, what we start thinking about, Bart and I were thinking, and we talked to the team about it, and we were thinking, okay, when we send out the letter, we're asking very specifically, it's a yes or no question. Are you selling your house? Are you, it's a yes, I'm selling my house. Yes, I'm interested because you've
Right.
got buyers, or no. So it's a yes or no.
Right.
The other thing is too, is if they're not selling their house, they're not going to reach out to you. If they're interested, they're going to reach out to you. So now what can we put in that letter? Because you're already doing a letter, you're already paying for postage,
Yeah.
you're already doing all those things. So what else can we put in that letter to help them engage with us, even if they're not selling? And it's about telling them about the community barbecue, or it's about telling them about the vendor. People are always doing things around their house.
Yes.
So they might not be selling right now or this year, but they might be selling in 2 or 3 years. And if you're engaging with them and you captured their email, and you captured their phone number, and you're staying in contact with them, 2 or 3 years down the road, they're going to be thinking about you.
I love this.
They're coming to your community events, so they're getting to know you. I mean, the community event has really helped bring, people are like, we love coming to the community event because my neighbor is right next door to me, but we never talk, we never see each other, but we always come to the community event, and I can sit here, and we have people that will come get their food and sit there for the whole event, just talking to their neighbors, because it's a great way to get all their neighbors together. So, so just trying to not just be the salesy, are you buying or selling a home? It's about giving people value back to the community, offering them the vendors, offering them events that they can, that they enjoy. And our community is very community oriented, where, it's a smaller community. A lot of the people around town know each other, and so that's why that barbecue is so successful.
I love it. And Deborah, what's the frequency of letters? Are we how many are we sending a month? Where did it start? I mean, you said earlier, I think you said you started with 500 first. Is it still 500, or has the frequency changed?
No. So what I had heard that you should only go like once every 8 months. So our rule of thumb is once a year, we go to one area.
Okay.
So we go to one area that we really focus on. And then what we've been trying to do this year is just expand that out to other areas. Okay. So we've just got to be really careful with, just making sure that we're not getting too, it's crazy to say.
It doesn't seem inauthentic. Right.
And so, and because of the way the market is this year, there's a lot of, listings out there right now, but as everybody knows, we've got the highest amount of sellers and not as many buyers. So that's why we've got to kind of watch that.
Right. So to make sure I can clarify for the audience, so this year you think you'll send out how many letters total, if you just had to ballpark?
So this year we'll probably send out 1,000.
1,000. Okay. So 1,000 letters. And from that 1,000, you feel that you'll take 10 listings?
I think we'll probably take at least 10 listings.
Okay. So that's a great return on investment. And again, you also talked earlier, and we're going to jump into this just for a second, but we're going to kind of bring this to put a button on this, or a bow on it, as they say. You're really trying to dial in and go, instead of going more, go deeper, right? And so you're not looking at, I think some of the faults that people have is they go, we need to send out 20,000 mailers a month, right? You're going, our intention is to provide 1,000 mailers in a year to take 10 listings from that. You can, of course, duplicate that process in another area if you'd like, but in the vendor piece, you're also getting referrals from this community. Your price point has gone up almost double and dramatically, because you realize that you were kind of spread too thin in some different lower price point areas. So I think some people hear this and they go, why don't you just do more? Do 20,000 of them or 50,000 of them. So why would you tell someone don't do more necessarily, or what's your opinion of that?
So I feel like you really need to zero in on your community that you want to focus on. So if it's like ours, we really focus on mountain properties and we focus on second homes. And so we are really focused on that. And I think you need to do that, where if you start expanding, what we found is we started expanding in all different areas, then we lost our focus. And based upon our community, we feel if our return on those 500 letters was, getting, the 10 appointments, then if we send out 1,000, then let's get, obviously it could be just a little bit more, because when we did that back in 2023, we didn't get the same response from another community that's really close by. So what we have found is the reason why we feel like we got such a good return is because people already knew us.
Right.
Well, they've already heard about us. They've already seen our signs in the community. So they knew we were right here locally.
Right.
We've got to be.
So you're just going deeper instead of wider.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that the way we treat our clients, no matter if it's a $400,000 listing or $1 million listing, we have the same process of what we're going to do for them. We want all to feel special because it's their home,
right?
Whether it's 400 or $1 million. And if we start going too, if you get too wide, then you kind of lose that personal touch with the client because you only have so much time and you can build on your team. But what we have found is, our team got to a point where we had 12 people and we had decided we wanted to zero in on just having 2 or 3. It's just what we thrive on. And we felt like we had better control of that, where we got too many. And I just didn't feel like I was doing the best I could with my sphere or with the team. So we had to.
You're preaching to the choir here. You know that, right? It's and we talked about it offline, right? It's got to be the model that's right for you. There's no one right model. There's the model that you get up excited to do every day. And so, well, I wish we had more time. We're going to jump into the last piece here. So platinum letter, banger. Thank you. So valuable. Let's jump into our beast mode part, because I know you have a listing appointment you got to get to. So let's talk about the M in beast mode. What? Give me a real quick, most memorable listing appointment. What comes to mind when I say most memorable listing appointment? Okay, so I would have to say the one that always comes to my mind about a listing is I was very new in the business, and everybody's always talking about being safe when you go out on a listing. And one of the agents that was on my team at that time, we go on the listing appointment and it's a guy at his house and we're all talking and everything. We do the tour of the house and we get to outside and he's got this, up in, the area that we work, there's a lot of older homes. So you enter the basement from outside. And so I'm already getting nervous.
So we go outside. He opens up this door for us to go down into this basement and we don't even think twice about it.
Sure.
We're just like, hey, let's go. Sure. And we just start heading down. And of course, I start heading down. The other agent starts heading down. He's still at the top. And we're like, wait a second. What if he shuts that door on us?
Right.
What if he locks us down here?
Right.
So that is one of the listing appointments that I was just like, it really made me stop and think about how you get so wrapped up in the listing appointment and talking to them. And you think everybody's your friend and everybody's great and everything. I mean, he could have literally just pushed me in the back and we would have just gone right on down and kind of just appeared.
But then the moral of the story is everything worked out and you got the listing.
Everything worked out.
Yeah, that's the good news. Yeah. But those hairs on the back of your neck go up, and you're like, "Oh, is this going to be a Pulp Fiction moment?" So, okay, I love it. All right, let's go on to. Thank you. That's a great story. So, one obstacle you've overcome in your listing career. What do you think you've hitting that hurdle and you've gone past it?
So I would have to say one of the biggest things that it was my own insecurity, and it was going back to that limiting belief. And I just feel like you've got to be confident with yourself when you go into a listing appointment. I think what happened with me is I would go on listing appointments not being confident, and I needed to learn how they're not judging me. I probably know a lot more about the market than they do. I'm bringing value to them. And I feel like that was something I really had to get over, that they're not, I guess it would be a limiting belief of where I didn't feel like I was good enough to go on that listing appointment and get the listing. Right. Where now I know when I go into a listing appointment, I know my package is a great package and I can go up against anybody, and I am going to show them my value and what I can offer them. And unless they're going to go with their best friend, or they're going to go with somebody that's got, a discount brokerage or something like that, chances are I'm going to get that listing.
I love that. So the confidence has gone up, like you said. Yeah. I think it's when you feel confident in what you present, and like you just said, that you said it probably 6 times on this podcast, the value you represent, no one can touch you, right? But you got to make sure you feel confident in it. So in there, I think we'll probably deliver one piece of advice, because that's the D in mode, and you just gave a great piece of advice there. Yes. Let's jump on to the E. What are you excited about for the future, Deborah? What's exciting in the next year, 3 years ahead? What are you so excited for what you're going to do next? Or not next, or even more, right? Or better.
Even more. I would have to say the biggest thing for us is that we have, over the years, we thought that we had to go everywhere. We thought we had to be everywhere. And as we were growing our team, we were like, okay, let's go into this area, get 2 to 3 agents in this area, and then we'll go to this, a different location.
Yeah, at one point you were in almost 3 to 4 kind of different office locations, and you're in the car like what, 8 to 10 hours a week? Just getting to the offices.
Yes, just going to the offices. It was so crazy. And by really looking at what was happening with our business, we were like, we have, you listen to podcasts and you listen to training, and, we're in training. A lot of it is your mindset. And we are very focused on training and listening to podcasts and stuff. But our biggest thing that we found was we were so on the road so much, and we were spread so thin. So our future, what we have made a decision on, is to really focus on one area and give it everything we have. And this is enough for us. We don't need to be, trying to be millionaires.
Yeah, expansionist. And yeah.
We thought that at one time, and we are now where we just want to focus on one area and focus on that and really service that area and really bring value to people. And what we're seeing in our numbers is we start thinking that way in 2025. We made some changes to make us more focused in one area. And what we're seeing is we can still have a great, real estate business, but we're just not running around all over the place. We're getting a little bit more of a balance of our life, and we are learning. And just like with, the new thing right now with ChatGPT, we have to be learning that every single week. We're learning something about ChatGPT, and
I love it.
It's just, always making yourself better, but always being willing to shift, to make a change, to make it better for you and your team.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Well, thank you. I think, you've shared so much value today. The platinum letter, obviously the limited beliefs, and you've been very open and honest about, getting past some of these things, especially at the closing table, at the listing appointment, closing moment of the listing appointment. And then I think it's just what I hope everyone takes away is it's less is more, and
Mm,
deeper and not wider. And you're just,
right.
again, when you feel comfortable that you're providing so much value, and as you said, even from having a 12-person team or a 3-person team, you or whatever team size that you feel comfortable, if you get to the point where you go, I'm not happy doing it this way, even though a book says I should do it this way, someone else is doing, right? We all go through that. We all get this envy of
Right.
going, well, they're in 3 cities, and if they can do it, I can do it. And it's like
Yep.
just do what's right for you. Start with the goal in mind, and like you said, you increased your average sales price, which is
Yep.
amazing. There's other benefits that are probably hidden in the simplicity that people don't see, and I just think you guys are you do such a great job of that. So thank you for being a listing beast, which you truly are. Thank you for inspiring our audience to become future listing beasts. And Deborah, we'll put, if anyone wants to send a referral your way because you care about clients so much, just what service do you or what areas do you service? And if I'm an agent right now listening to this and I go, I want my client to work with Deborah, who do you help and what do you cover?
Yep. So we work with both sellers and buyers, and we are in Clear Creek County, Summit County, in the Denver metro area.
I love that. I love that.
Oh,
Excellent. Well, if you heard that right, anybody you have a client, make sure you send them to Deborah herself and her business partner, Barton. Her whole team will take care of them at the highest level. Deborah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being an amazing listing beast. And we can't wait to have you back on the show again here as you continue to have even more success.
well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Listing Beast podcast. If today's episode helped you level up your listing game, take 30 seconds to share this episode with another agent who wants to get more listings, make more per client, and receive endless referrals from raving fans. And if you're dead serious about earning $100K a month every month from listings, head straight to listingbeast.com and book your call with my team. Our proven Listings Beast certification program can take your business from good to unstoppable. I'm Brendan Bartic, and I'll see you right back here on the Listing Beast podcast.